guest. Um, I call him the Podfather, the electrical Podfather. He is the guy who invented the first electrical podcast by Sparks, and I am the Pod Mother. He left me to raise a child by myself, so as he could go and have children with other men, and and here we are. So it's Rick from the Electricians Guide to Everything fame, which you can find every Thursday at 6 a.m. On Apple and Spotify. I've re-released all the old episodes. Now, before we get started, Verso, electrical.co.uk. They do some of the sexiest fuse boards, silver-plated buzz bars. It's like the Rolls Royce of fuse boards. They've got new mini AFDDs coming out in the next month or so. Plus, they do all of your accessories, sockets, spurs, switches, a whole lot. So go and check them out, Verso electrical.co.uk, and check out #myinstall. You can go there and get all your tips, tricks, and latest news for the electrical industry at Verso electrical.co.uk, #myinstall.
Can I quickly ask you about something?
Go on.
You know, the other week, some people noticed on the podcast, we have a full screen now, Verso one. So if you're watching YouTube, we're advertising. But last week, you forgot to do the advert, didn't you?
Yeah.
And I listened back on the audio today, and you sounded like you was on one of them sex lines. Just like, "Hiya, do you like Verso?" Because obviously, you must have had to go to your house and record it. And you're like,
you know what it was?
So if anyone that listened to it, go and listen to it because it's someone going, "Hi, Verso fuse boards." They're nice. It made me laugh in my van today.
Like this, super sexy. But
yeah, it was just so off.
I was editing the podcast, and and I couldn't be bothered to get up, and I was laying on my sofa, and I was doing it literally on my chest like this, and I just recorded it on my phone. I couldn't be bothered to come out to
I was howling, mate, because it was just so off kilter for you. It made me laugh. Yeah, so you got me today.
And I was well ill last week.
Yeah, it made me feel a bit sick when you spoke to me like that. He was literally coming in my ears.
Rick, we've got you on today. Got to talk about a few things. The main topic of the podcast actually is things you hate about being an electrician. However, before we get to that, I want to talk to you about some of these latest awards you've been winning. Who have you been paying, and how do I get one?
Mate, it was listen, you know, obviously won Electrician of the Year 2019, and I've done a little speech there, and I said really it's split in half because you know it was our work, weren't it? It was the union, and that was why I won the award. And it was self-nominated as well.
Which one was this for anyone that don't know, Rick? Which one was this one? 2019 was the
Fixed Radio. This was
yeah.
I nominated myself and said, you know, this is what we're doing. So it was one of them awards where I never really accepted it as an award, almost, because I self-nominated, and it was for all the right things, but it was me and Sam had done it together, so it was joint. And this one is kind of the same because I got nominated by someone I work with, the head of communications, and it was award. Obviously, I won Electrician of the Year and Tradesperson of the Year as well. So it was a write-up of what, since I've joined WFP where I work now, I took over their electrical division and what we've achieved in the last 6 months. So that's what she wrote about. And
that's amazing, man.
So Electrician of the Year 2022, which is, again, is it a fraud? I'm not even on the tools anymore. So it depends how you look at it. You know, when they done the thing is, right, because Verity is the name of the person that wrote it, and she's the head of communications. So she would literally go, right, what's this award mean? And they go, what we're looking for. And she will bullet point that and then write it. And then like you couldn't not win an award if she wrote for you because it's pretty much writing exactly what you want to hear almost.
They are Sam per cash one Saturday. She was
for sure. But it was obviously I am up to date with the regs and I do take all that very seriously. But then obviously Tradesperson of the Year is everyone that wins that night. Then out of all the winners, you get Tradesperson of the Year. So to win that as well was like, that brought a little tear to my eye because that is really special, you know. So
that's the one you want, isn't it? Well, man, both of them really, because to be nominated. The only listen, I'm not knocking your awards. I'm really proud of you, mate. But the only knock on who decides that you're Electrician of the Year? Who decides you're Tradesperson of the Year? Does it go to like a little council of fuckwits or what? How do they find out?
Yeah, so for Fixed Radio, obviously we will never know. No, because they never said there was no judges or anything. No. On this one, it tells you who the judges were. So the judges for me was a guy that obviously was by On the Tools, which were probably, On the Tools. We know there was a bit of an issue with an interview they'd done with the two writers. I won the award as well, which I don't think I was behind. I don't think many people were behind. I think I was saying
the
now.
Old, tool thieves.
But mate, they interviewed a tool thief, didn't they?
Oh, that yeah.
Just to put people in perspective, if you don't know, On the Tools do a lot of like Facebook content and Instagram content where they show tradesmen doing funny stuff. Then they've also branched out into doing other little bits and pieces. And what they've done, they had Matt Thomas, stand-up guy. I do like Matt. Had him interview a tool thief and talk about. But to be honest with you, I was like, I don't. Listen, let's talk to tool thieves. Let's find out.
Well, I don't know there was beef with it.
But
they pay him, did they?
My beef with it was he was like trying to be the skeezer's mate. He should have put it on him.
Yeah, he's not a professional journalist, though, is there?
It wasn't quite. They was going for Ross Kemp interviewing a pirate. And it didn't come across that way, unfortunately. Which but I know, like you're quite right. Interview, see what it's all about.
He's on the Tools, the podcast style one.
No, not really.
They do
a video pod.
Yeah, they do.
I've been on it. It's the Spark got it who hosts it. I've been on it before, I think.
Do you know what? I know the geezer that started it. I forget his name, which is terrible of me. But I mean, On the Tools as a whole sponsor one of the biggest charities for me, which is Band of Builders. I love Band of Builders, and so Gavin comes up and he says obviously about how much On the Tools have supported him, and that kind of sells me for anything else. I mean, if you're interviewing a tool thief and it comes across bad, but you get views and you get money, and that helps Band of Builders, fucking, I'm all for it. To
be fair as well, they might have kicked the fuck out of him after. You never know.
Yeah, well, he was probably a bit scared, mate. There was probably like a geezer and 20 of his mates standing. I don't know, but yeah, on the time they put on a great event. Like it was fantastic, and the rewards were great, mate. I got like so I got £1,000 for winning Electrician of the Year.
Nice,
but I got £5,000 for.
And he got a load of stolen and tools.
Yeah, that's exactly what I got.
They got donated from an unknown source.
No, so to be fair, it was like
you got 5 bags for winning tradesperson of the year.
You what?
Yeah, it was $2,500 into my bank. And $2,500 worth of tools from Tool Station.
You was right.
Fair one to On the Tools, because that's decent.
That is decent. It's all sponsors, like people that are sponsoring it. I'll be honest to you, mate. Nothing against Fixed Radio because it was great at the time, but I got about 200 quid.
Is that the one where James Beck was there?
I don't even think you got that, did you?
Yeah, I got. But the funny thing was, obviously, I got £200.
I didn't get no £200.
This check that was like this. No, just 200 quid. That was it. And then On the Tools were just like, it was in them. You've done that. Didn't speak about it. I haven't shouted about it or anything, but it was good.
Was you nominated with James Beck?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah,
there's a video about it in the. I've seen that
on James Beck's YouTube, and that was
they're mortified because you win. He's like, you fucking bastard.
Yeah. So that was where I first met David Savory and Nick Bundy, but it was so long ago. I didn't really know who they was at the time, so it was like a missed opportunity. I really didn't. I feel like I haven't really met Dave and Nick in a way because I didn't really know who they was at the time. But it was James Beck.
Oh, so there's all these big hitting YouTubers on there. Then you roll in and take it off them, do you?
Well, at the time we were starting, weren't we? We was.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but you're just not. Yeah, you just. Yeah,
I mean,
everyone was a bit more compartmentalised than they are now, maybe.
The proudest moment I had when I won Electrician of the Year, I was up against Little Miss Electrical, and I thought I ain't got a chance here. No way. For what Little Miss Electrical does I was like, listen, it's a done thing, mate. For what I do to what she does, and then I won it, and I was like, that was probably the nicest thing, because obviously when you go to these things, you don't know who anyone is. But I know when they called out Little Miss Electrical as nominated, there was a little shout from a table, so I knew they was there, and I was like, nice. I ain't got a chance. Do you know what I mean? And so to win,
was you genuinely surprised to win?
Oh, always, massively. Yeah, massively.
You weren't surprised to win the 2019 one. Don't try it. You was like,
you're going to pretend, right? You sit there and everyone does this. Even you, Sam, you know what sort of guy you are. You're going to go, fuck off. I won't do that. You sit there and you go, it don't mean fuck all. It don't mean fuck all. Your hands sweat and your heart starts to beat when they start, because you get nervous. You can't help it. It's fucking natural. And then it calls it. And then I literally, mate, I don't do the whole standing in front and accepting it. I'll run up, fucking grab it, fuck off. You know, it's not, I'm not gracious. And the other thing I was really proud of, which is dumb, was that it was a black tie event. They said it weren't a black tie event, but dressed to impress. And I turned up in like Timberlands, a checkered shirt. Everyone was in suits and ball gowns.
Outfit.
Yeah. And I won electrician and tradesperson. And that was like, well, you know, you don't
That's
dress to impress, do you?
That's their fault. If it's black tie, put black tie.
And there was the geezer that won plumber of the year was in a kilt, which was pretty incredible. So I was all for that fella.
It's probably all plumbers can afford.
yeah, maybe so. But yeah, it was good. I recommend it. Sort of anyone go for it. You know, it's I think, you know, it's nice to win, but
what I will say about awards is, and I've heard this before, and I've learned it's bollocks, right? I've seen these, you know, like the ECA do like contract year and that and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And you get these people going, same people win every year. Do you know why? The same people apply, really. They're the same people apply every year. So you've got to be in it to win it, ain't you? So anyone goes, I didn't win it. Did you enter? No. Well, fuck off then.
But you've got to remember what it does. The reason we ended it was because obviously I took over an electrical division and we're trying to make it work. Do you realise what it does when you have on your signature, Ricky Howe, Eng Tech, TMIET, Electrician of the Year, Tradesperson of the Year? It helps, mate. It wins work.
I'm Eng Tech TMITT. What have you got, Sam?
Right, listen, just quickly. Just quickly. Right? Rick?
Yeah.
Are you an engineer or not an engineer?
Well, I'm a professional engineer.
No. Are you an engineer or not an engineer? End of story.
He's an engineer.
I'm an engineer, yeah.
No, you're not.
Why?
Just because you applied to...
Actually, I tell you what, I'm
he
not.
He assesses engineers. Other engineers.
I'm a technician.
Just you're an electrician, don't make you an engineer. It makes you an engineering technician, you fucking dumb
but it depends what you justify as an engineer and what they do. I actually think I'm a technician because I class an engineer as someone that invents and a technician as someone who implements that.
Someone who does complex calculations to build bridges and shit is an engineer or a power block or something.
Yeah, but then...
You know, when Sam gets an Eng Tech, we'll never hear the fucking end of what an engineer is.
Yeah, go and get one now.
Go on then. I've told you. Go and get one.
And if I assess you, you won't.
I don't want to. It will do nothing for me.
You know what? Without taking too much work, Rick's trying to interview me, yeah? This year, you've got loads more into management. You're doing your STM, STS, or whatever it fucking is, the ST, triple TPQ.
Triple STS, it's on my board.
You got about doing your NEBOS or your IOS, yeah? Just do that as well. And I think you'll soon click, you know what, I will do that. Because on your CV, it looks mint.
I don't want to do it because it don't mean nothing. I'm not a fan of the IET. They can poke it.
It's not the IET, it's the Professional Engineering Council.
I'd say no.
Not the IET.
To be honest, it's one of them things, in it, where, you know, does it benefit you? What are you going to get from it?
Nothing.
Well, you do, because you put it on your CV, and if there's 10 of you in a room and you're the only one with it, you're getting the job.
Here's the thing.
That's it.
Here's the thing, right? I could put it on my CV. No one's going to check.
That's completely true, but that'll make you a liar, which is fraud.
So what? It's called hustling, bitch.
I mean, it is a fair point.
Yeah, anyway, I'm Dr. Jamie Blayton, and thanks for listening.
But then if you interviewed with me, I would know, and Jamie would know. So it depends, didn't it? But you've got to get something from it.
If I didn't have a podcast, I'd put out all my secrets each week. And I was just
you can't hide, can you? It's true.
No, it's like,
so now anyone that interviews you with that CV, you're fucked, in you. Even if you go and get it now, no one's going to believe you.
Check it.
I ain't trying to do that job, though.
I think you've got...
Jamie's convinced he's an engineer. He's not an engineer.
I am an engineer. I'm a fucking Royal Engineer. I'm fucking Royal Engineer with the Royal Engineering Association. I've been checked. I've been audited. I'm a fucking engineer. I'll fight you. I'll come down to Kent and knock you the fuck out, yeah? He literally just says an engineer just calculations on bridges. Do stuff like that. I do it. I've got fucking software. I draw stuff. I design stuff. I'm an engineer.
It's where you draw the line.
You haven't got a degree in engineering.
That doesn't make you an engineer, does it?
Have you got an equivalent or a degree in engineering?
Did Frank Whittle have a degree in engineering when he knew about the jet engine? No.
What I'm saying, though.
Did Dyson have an engineering degree? No, he's got a degree in art, hasn't he? Is Dyson an engineer?
Listen.
Is James Dyson an engineer?
He's an inventor.
You're a fucking player, honestly. The thing is, when you change your mind, we'll never hear the fucking end of it. You're an engineer.
That is literally that Sam, isn't it, all over? But
it's got to be the thing.
It's what you choose, isn't it? So it's that line between if you're installing and you're an installing electrician, I say, you know, you're a technician. That's it.
Yeah.
You're a technician. If you start going in like what I do now, I'm designing. You know, very basic. You know, I'm not a chartered engineer designing, but I'm doing electrical designs. I use ModeSoft, like electrical OM, brilliant. You know, started getting into CAD. So you're going more to the side of engineering in the fact that you are designing. But it's up to, listen, it only matters what you think.
No,
that's it, innit? You please yourself with it. That's
here's the thing,
it.
right? I could go around here's the thing, right? Let me just tell you this little story. One day,
I've got the answers. I've got the answer to the question. Why do I hate most about being an electrician? Sam. The fact that I met this guy.
Sam, don't move around too much. Don't move around too much, Sam. Don't move around too much. You're going to knock your Wi-Fi off.
Many moons ago, so my sister-in-law comes to me and she says, I've got she wanted to get a pregnancy inhibitor thing removed from her arm, right? And my brother was like, Sam, cut it out. I was like, all right, sweet. And so what we did, we ordered some scalpels from the internet, right? Some stuff to clear it all and like clean it all down and that, and like numb it, some numbing cream, and I cut it out. Yeah, so my brother held
some numbing cream.
We are so far off piste. We've skimmed to the lake again.
Oh, it's okay. We took it with an hammer, so she was asleep.
So, my brother held her arm down. She was a trooper. She was tough. I cut it out.
Where the
pulled it
out. Did you grow up?
Pulled it out. Am I a surgeon?
No.
Am I a surgeon?
No, you are not. You're not.
That's what you're saying. Oh,
no,
because I can use CAD, because I can do this, because I can do that. I'm an engineer.
Genuinely, yeah, right. You know, I've heard a podcast where you're going, I wanted that gold card, I wanted that gold card, I wanted that gold card, and you're banging on about nothing you want but the gold card, yeah? If we want to create future engineers, which I want to be a part of, we have to
university and
the engineering fuck off for university, yeah? The engineer has to be like a protected status if something want people to achieve. You've got to big it up. And you want to see people go through the process. You're not a surgeon.
Surgeon.
Not a surgeon.
I performed a surgical operation and won. I'm a surgeon.
To be fair, though, if I was stuck in a desert island and it was like an accident, that's better than nothing, isn't it? I'm an engineer. I'm an engineer, been professional engineering council, been assessed to that criteria. Legally, I'm an engineer.
No, don't say legally.
Legally, I mean, it's accredited, isn't it? Engineering council.
Rick, so are you legally an engineer now as well?
I said I'll go for it, mate. I'll have to argue with Jamie. You know, he's probably more of an engineer than I ever will be. But yeah, I mean, I guess the answer to question you, Sam, is in your opinion, you know, what stage do you become an electrical engineer? Like, what do you have to do? Because obviously you could go do your HNC and your HND, but you've got no experience, and we know what we think about that with people that have got certs and, you know, with no experience. So
here's what I'll say, right? If you go to you fill out your little form for the IET, you submit that, and then you get it back, and they go, right, you've reached the criteria to be an MIET, right? Sweet. And then you go and do your Eng Tech, right? And it says you're an engineering technician. It says it in the fucking title. You're an engineering technician, not an engineer.
Oh, but I can't be an engineer without working my way through this process, can I? To be chartered. Because a chartered engineer is a proper engineer is a chartered engineer. I'm at the bottom of 3 stages.
Engineer, yes or no?
No, I'm an Eng Tech. I need to move on, but I can't be fucking arsed.
You're an engineering technician. I win.
Yeah. Bam. Yeah, but next year, hopefully, if I get my arse to think about else, I'll do the iEng and then I'll do chartered.
Here's the thing. Are you going to submit this as CPD?
Of course I am. Because professional electrician, you can do that if you read it. So as far as I'm concerned, this is an
Have you seen that, Rick?
What's this?
Professional.
I'll be honest. I'll be straight up. Remember, I assess Eng Tech now, so I know the process. And there's no way you put your CPD in. You don't see it. I don't see it as an assessor. I've got a judge from. So if you put in your answers that I carry out CPD and this is how I do it, that's all I've got to judge you on.
CPD's professional engineering discussions into it and things like that. Yeah.
Finish. You meant to record it.
If anyone,
it could be anything.
If anyone at any organisation who looks over my YouTube playlist and the place this channel and my Instagram tells me I'm not doing CPD for an hour a fucking week, I'll knock them the fuck out. Yeah, because I am literally trying my hardest to deliver content and education in a sweary ball every fucking day to inspire engineers to move on. And if they say that's not acceptable like that, get with the times, Grandad. Well, this is how we do it now.
When you go for iEng, you go through that process of like, so you're Eng Tech now, Jamie. Yeah, same as me.
Yeah, I've got my iEng all done, but I've not, because of COVID, I didn't get to the interview, so I need to take it back up again.
When you go to iEng, you also have to have an interview as well. Yeah, which I don't know what. Yeah,
that's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's obviously a different experience, but certainly with EngTech, obviously, I think I've done about 10 now, and half of them go through, half of them don't.
Why don't they go through?
Well, they've
Because
got
they're like you.
yeah. Well, they've got to cover. There's 5 core principles, and within them 5 principles, there's stuff that's got to be covered in the answers to the question. And unfortunately, me and Neil was doing the same people. So, it's as much as I get for the IET, they sailed us down the river a bit because me and Neil signed up to volunteering. Both doing EngTech, and they said, well, what tends to happen is, we ease you into it, and you go with people that are more experienced than
Then
you or
bang,
whatever.
you're in there.
Mate, we got given 40 applications, and me and Neil
Jesus.
was doing them, and we was just like, "What are you talking about?"
It's a selfless task, mate. And for the IT, I can't imagine. I can't imagine. I'm not hammering them, right, but I can't imagine they've bowled over volunteers because the IT is just a nonsense organisation now. When it was the Institute of Electrical Engineers, I was always behind it more. Now when they branched out and merged, I'm like, well, do you really represent me that much anymore? I'm like a little bit of your gang, aren't I?
It's tough with the IET. I do think at least if you volunteer for it, I probably shouldn't still have to pay me fucking full membership every year,
And I
but
feel,
I do. And
I do feel like electricians are drifting massively away from the IT because you make us a book. But other than that, every email you sent me is about fucking robots or space. I don't do that.
Yeah, the other big thing is, mate, is that people from my background I've never judged. I've never had them applications. You do like more maintenance, Jamie, didn't you? With like
I'm a spark, but but at the minute I'm
but
like
installation or maintenance, which side do you sit? Like, what do you do now?
I'm an engineer.
Yeah. So I get along.
I'm like electrical controls. My actual job is ECNI engineer, electrical controls and instrumentation.
Okay, so you're the sort of person that I see that comes through pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah, because they love it, don't they? They absolutely love it.
They're trying to progress, beat BAE. Do you know what I mean? For them sort of people,
yeah,
I've never seen Sam
Bob
installation spark that's going up because the natural progression if you're on the tools is probably to start your own company, and in which case IET is not going to help you. It's only if you do what I do and I wanted to work for a company and progress in a company that it does. And
I did mine while I was self-employed though, and I would just say because this is vastly turned to a conversation about this and a podcast about this, which is not a bad thing because it's funny. But I did it when I was self-employed. I was always looking to increase my employability if I wasn't self-employed, so I kept my quals up. So just bear that in mind when it's listening to this, thinking, it don't matter to me. That I didn't think I'd ever get a job, and now I'm quite happy in my job.
And the trouble the IET's got is we're talking about 1% of sparks in me and you.
Oh, the 1%, the 1%.
That would bother with EngTech because to the general spark, what's the point? What does Nick Bundy or Artisan or David Savory even for the work they do? What are they going to get from joining the IET?
I'll just reiterate as well is that to be an EngTech, iEng or chartered, you don't have to be a member of the IT. There are other organisations you can do it through. So it's not all IT.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Because I'm not in the IT. I'm not in it. I've stopped paying my bill because I'll fess up here. I don't pay for the IT because, as I said earlier, it's drifted so far away from electricians into more like it's all sorts of stuff going off. The magazine's full of crap. I'm an electrician. I want to speak and do my things with electricians. I appreciate it weren't big enough for them to merge, but I'm not a member. I don't feel I don't connect with them.
Yeah,
so fuck you.
I feel the same. I pay my membership, but I feel the same. But that magazine's terrible. For Sparks, like it's brilliant if you're Elon Musk, I'd say he probably gets something from it because that's the sort of thing they're talking about, But for the general Spark, there's not an awful lot in it.
Rick, give us a rundown, right? Because I really admire what you've done in the short space of time you've done it. Give us a rundown of your career progression, starting from going from being, like, you don't mind me chatting your story, going from being a stay-at-home dad, to becoming what are you, a director or manager of?
Yeah, electrical manager, head of electrical, whatever you want to say.
Head of electrical at a company, building it up from the ground. Give us your timeline, your story, and how it went.
Timeline: 11 years. Started when I was 25. we've told this story a lot. Obviously, I've done an apprenticeship. I fell into it. I weren't applying for an electrician. I worked in Sainsbury's. Fell into it. Made the best of the opportunity, really. And then I said, by the time I was 40, I wanted to be earning 100 grand a year. I'm 36 and I'm halfway there, just over halfway there. So obviously 25, that was a big lofty. Today, I mean, you look at jobs today, there was, I see like fucking one today for about 75 grand. But obviously the story was so I done my apprenticeship, it took 5 years because JTL was shit. And I had to wait a year. I did have an assessor for a year.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, JTL, you still are.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, there's shit because we took an apprentice last year and I tried to go through JTL and it was the experience was dog, mate. So they're still shit.
Just for the backup, when I came through my apprenticeship with JTL, it was fantastic. But they fell a long way, I think.
I was good. It was good up until my original assessor left. He was good. Guy called Chris. Spot on, mate. He left. They replaced him with someone. I never met that guy. They sacked him after 6 months. Then it took him another 6 months to get someone in. And then that guy was good as well. So the people who could put the organisation, they've got a lot to do, I think. But anyway, so I'd done that. I got qualified. Then I was working for a company. I was working away all the time. And my youngest son was born, Oscar. And I was working away in fucking I can't even remember where it was now, man. If you go other podcasts, you'll find it. But I was sitting there one day, man, and we were sitting in a hotel. Sorry, my cat's eating a banana. I think I'm going to go and smash it in the head. I'm just looking. Fuck off.
This is the funniest
I just caught it in my eye, mate. So anyway, so I'm glad you're laughing because you like this story as well. So we was working away,
brilliant.
And we was working in the Debenhams, mate, and we was working nights.
That shows how old this is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, imagine that. That was their full site. Do you know what I mean? 6 years ago, we're doing them up, and they've gone under. That fucking someone fucked up there, didn't they? Anyway, so we was doing it. It was hot, mate. It was middle of summer. The hotel we were staying in, the aircon weren't fucking working, and it was just shit. And then we were sitting outside this Debenhams one day. I was already missing home. I didn't want to work away no more. And we watched this dude, mate, and he stood in front. We used to sit outside Debenhams and get a Greggs and just sit there and eat it, like me, Spark I was with, and the shop fitters. And he just stood there, like in the middle of the street for about a minute. Well, and I'll try and show you what he'd done, right? I'll try and get my trousers in, right? Oh, I've lost my headphones. So he's standing there, and it's just like that, right, for about a minute. And then he lifts his leg up, shakes it. A bit of shit falls out. He screams it and runs off. And I was like, what am I doing here, man? Fucking hell. What
Did he save your career?
Oh, he done something to me, mate, because literally when I got back that weekend, I put my notice in. I was like, fuck this. I can't work away no more.
I think everyone, when I was living there. And I
think everyone was that stage, though.
So it was Sam all along. No, so that was that. I got back and I went self-employed, and I made the jump. And I spoke to an agency. I see this job advertised, working in Vauxhall in London, doing up some flats, the outside of flats, putting new lighting in and whatever. I remember renting. I was green, man. I didn't know the agency circuit. Like I'd never been doing about CIS, umbrella schemes. I was fucking like. I didn't know shit. I had to learn very quickly. So I went working for this company. It didn't work out. I got fucking pumped like right before Christmas because I wouldn't be a supervisor for the same fucking money. And that was my very incredibly quick fucking harsh lesson to the agency circuit, of which I'd done probably 3 years. Obviously, where I met Sam, where we started doing the union stuff. Obviously, me and Sam met over an argument. I love this story.
Surprise.
You know, we met over an argument and I was right with the argument as well, but I was fucking, I said how shit fucking Unite were. And Sam was a big advocate with them at the time. And then he realised, and then he started his own union. So
I don't want to start slagging off fucking cretinous arsehole unions on this podcast. I don't want to send this shit around me.
Well, this is the history, mate. This is the history. So that was how I met Sam. And then we started that journey together. And then, to be honest, all he really done was hold me back. I probably would have been here a lot quicker had it not been for that. No. Right. So I learned very quickly the lessons of the agencies and stuff. And then I wanted to get out of London, so I went local. And then on that site, there's a recurring theme that I just hate people, I think. So I hated the agency. So when I got out of London, went on a different site, literally like next, like 5 minute walk from my house. But there, I was working for a guy that he weren't qualified. He was on like about 280 a day, and it was quick. It was a price spark. They couldn't test, couldn't do this, couldn't do that, and it was just so disillusioned, man. I was there 6, 7 months, and I was doing everything for less money, and I was just like, you know what, I want to progress. Fucking hell. You done well there, man. I told you to sit over there. You fucking just come bowling past, son. Well done.
I thought he was going to say, I live alone then.
Yeah. Get back in your dungeon. Fucking hell. Get back with Maddie.
I can't have two of you doing it.
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much. There's 3 of us now. It's fucking hell. It's like 3 stooges, isn't it? Anyway, so I decided then that I want to go for a company and I want to progress in a company. I want to just go back to. It's a little bit of an easier life, isn't it? Because you're guaranteed. It's a different pace working for a company. It's not for everyone, for sure. I know, Sam. It's not for. Well, yeah. It's. I just wanted to progress.
I did it, didn't I? I did it for a year, working as a site manager, doing everything on these sites, installing medical imaging equipment and suites, and it was I enjoyed the fuck out of it. I loved it. I didn't like being employed, and I didn't like working away.
Yeah, well, they go hand in hand a lot of the time, don't they? Those two.
The finish, like Sam's always. I will get back to this end. I'll finish the story. So I run up a guy I went to school with, called Dan. He worked at Morgan Sindall. I said, you're looking for sparks at the moment. So I took a massive step back, mate. I went down to like 32 grand a year. Like, it's a massive step back, knowing that I was going to progress quick. So I went to Morgan Sindall to progress. I become a qualifying supervisor within 6 months. They put me all through with 2391, my 18th edition, got me to approved electrician status, which already was without the paper. You know what I mean? So they've done all of that for me. Become electrical supervisor there, and then it got to about March last year, you know, when fucking money was going through the roof, and I was on like 38 grand there, and I was like, I need more money. It's not a choice of want. I need more money. I'm not surviving. My outgoings are more than what I'm earning, so I need to earn more. And there was nowhere for me to go there
because they've got a set structure, haven't they? Basically,
yeah. It's you know, with more for me to go into the position I went into. Dan, who was the QS, so the guy I got the job with anyway, he had to be given a new position, which needed a business plan in order to free up his position for me to go into, because that's what these companies are like. It's not just, you know, you can't just make a sound died again.
No, I'm here.
Oh, I fucking hell, you're just catching flies. I thought he was going to stop in a minute. So yeah, that was so unfortunate. There was nothing they could do. And then I applied for the position where I am now at WFP. So they'd started an electrical division in 2020. So they're a fire and security company, began about 20 years. And they started an electrical division that was born out of the director, got offered a loan, a really good interest loan, as every company did about then. He took it, not knowing what he's really going to do with it, but he knew he was going to invest in the company somewhere. And then he got his BMW stole off his driveway. And he got a Tesla. And then he got a EV charger installed in his home, had a really shitty experience with it, and then thought, I'm going to start a company, and just so I could start doing this. And that's what he'd done. Unfortunately, the guy that he got running the company, I mean, the director's story is his wife got really ill. She had to have a heart transplant, so he was out of the company for a year. You know, he was just, I mean, even now, you know, it's still time when he's not really, probably 80% back in now, you know, his wife's never going to be well again. She's not dead, you know, she's doing okay, but you have a heart transplant, it comes with a million problems, you know. So all the time that he was out of the company, the guy that was running it was saying how well it was going, and it fucking weren't. You know, so interesting what you say, Sam, where obviously I took this job on to take it from the ground up. It was under the fucking ground, mate, because they're running to debt. So, and, you know, that's where I am now, you know. So from when I joined, it's November and December were the best months we've had in terms of profit and turnover, which is what I want to do a podcast on going forward, to sort of share my experience in it. I've learned so much in the last 6 months about it's simple stuff for engineers as well.
Hang on a minute. Are you doing a business course?
Nah, fucking. I don't think you
Why
need
don't
it,
you
mate.
sell it for?
I tell you what, a lot of it, I really enjoyed listening to that because there was a lot of luck and chance and right place at the right time, as well as effort from you. Then
It's
always
making it
interesting
count.
hearing tales,
realise
yeah.
Every
about Rick.
opportunity, making it count. You know what I mean? And it's ruthless. The minute something don't work for me, I fuck off.
Yeah,
You know
as
what
soon
I
as
mean?
I get bored
This
in
is
the
the thing
job,
you
I'm
don't
gone.
know about Rick. His self-belief is phenomenal.
No,
Yeah,
I've
it's
seen
pretty.
it, I've
It's
seen it.
pretty big. It's pretty big. Yeah. I'm one
And
of
there's
these
no
people
wrong with
that.
that. A lot of people are lacking in that. And
Mm.
I say, if I'm not learning or earning, I'm gone.
The
Right?
trouble is, what I'm
That's my rule.
finding, and even with like with the company I'm with now, in all honesty, is that everyone thinks they want that person, and then when they get that person, they can't handle him. Because
Yeah,
I'm ruthless, mate. I'm fucking like, well, what we're gonna do? Obviously, I've had to. When I took this job, I was told, obviously, you're coming on. We want you to grow an electrical division, but you can't grow an electrical division that's in fucking debt. So it's just been me. I'm the person. I've got subcontractors that I use. That works
right.
to a certain point, but I've got to achieve to recover for where we was. I've got to get £16,000 profit every single month, and that's fucking
Jeez.
impossible for one person. We've hit that target
Yeah, yeah,
once.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, in order to that's not to break even, obviously, just that's to grow. And you know, and now I'm at the point where I'm getting bored of hearing, well, we just need to get more work. We just need to get more work. We just need to get more work.
For who?
Yeah, and
For who to
listen,
do?
yeah, I understand that fucking entirely. I understand that, but for me and my belief, and you know, it's am I getting at the point where I'm like, well, you know, you sold me this, you said I could do this. There's no money to invest because we're where we are. Do I want to carry on with it? So,
I
and that's
know
that.
exactly the feel, mate. I've been there first four. It's like they promise you with the earth and then they live a bit like eventually you'll get somewhere that do treat you right. I think that's
Mate, I can't knock the company.
not
This,
no
and
not
and this is
mistreat, but yeah, but
yeah, and this is why I'm so sympathetic to it because it's an impossible situation, isn't it? For a director, he genuinely the company he wants to do all this great stuff. He wants to, but what do you do?
you're in the you sound like you're very much the first time I spoke to you, obviously. You're very much in the give me the tools and I'll do the job camp, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, and you know, it's I think unfortunately, you know, when he started, obviously back in 2020 before COVID, there was a fair bit of money in the coffers, so he was ready to go. But
Oh,
then
but he's been stitched up by someone else, basically. There's
in
yeah.
essence, yeah, and then you know, I think it's run as kind of you know two separate businesses on paper, and on paper for 2 years, fire and security have just topped up electrical to the tune of about 70 grand. You know, that's how much they've just pumped into it.
Mm.
And all credit, mate. Like, come back in May, you know, when they decided to go in a different direction. If it was me, I don't think I would have been brave enough to go again. I think I would have just said, "Fuck, I've got to call it." You know, but the fact
Yeah,
that they,
it's when it's your own money, it's hard, isn't it?
yeah,
I've been in there, I've been under, if I'm
and
honest,
it's
a
the
few
same time.
times.
And listen, I went there, I got a pay rise, and then within 2 months, I said I need 10 grand more, and he gave it to me within 5 minutes. And so fucking kudos, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's fair enough, mate. But it's you know, I do have to consider is it me? Is I feel like at the moment, don't matter where I get with it, how successful it is, I don't think the growth is ever going to really happen. You know, and that's because it's risk. And I think you know it's so. And yeah, that's obviously more about the company. The company's
But no, it's
amazing,
interesting.
but this is just personally to me, and this is the trouble with having someone that's so ambitious and keeping that person constantly fed is a real mammoth task.
I think so. In business, though, I would say that you know if you start off with 10 grand and you want to turn over 150, at some point you'll be 40 grand in debt,
Mm.
and
Yeah,
you've got to either drive through it or it. Well, but by the time you're 40 grand in debt, your options are to drop dead there and then, aren't there, or to drive through it. So you just got to push through it, because what's the worst going to happen if you're 40 grand in debt? You don't end up in more debt, you go bankrupt anyway. But it's people don't understand that in
yeah,
business is that sometimes you just got to push fucking through. There's no
yeah.
time for what is it they say? There's a thing about it in there. When it gets if it gets hard, when it gets hard, keep going is a famous church quite a lot. But I don't know
Yeah,
what
I
it is.
think, and you know, and this comes to you know
Jamie's
why
got
you
the
want to
worst
own a
ever quotes
company
as
again.
well.
So you know, from the director's point of view, quite honestly, and he's you know he said this himself. You know, realistically, I need to. I need to if I was to bring people in now to help me, they'd say get rid of 2 people straight away, because then you're
Oh,
okay.
because they can't, because the numbers.
Of course, yeah. If you're in a position where in a position of growth, which they are, they're in a position of growth for the last 12 months, and it's not fruitated yet. It will do this year, but yeah, if you could bring someone in now, they'd say get rid of 2 people, so we do the balance sheets. Okay, obviously, like you say, when you're growing a company, you're investing. And that's kind of the stage. Is that same as the other option? Is obviously to bring an investor in, but then you lose control. So is in a difficult position. In the first quarter here, we'll show where we're at. I mean, electrical's gone leap and bounds. We've done really well, but last year's balance sheet.
Yeah. But mate, in 11. So that's all happened in 11 years from that to
run the business. 11 years. Yeah. Pretty.
Yeah, that's
25, 36 now. Yeah, it's been a steep, a real steep fucking climb. Steep. Yeah. But then I pushed myself. But then, like I say, the worst thing about being from where I am and being ambitious is that you're always ambitious, and it started as I'm getting older, and I guess where mental health comes into it so much, and I'm constantly, if there's ever a problem, I always look at myself first. I always look inward before I look outward, and that's just the way I'm wired. But mate, it can be fucking exhausting.
I listen to a self-help podcast here.
Yeah.
I've been there. I've been self-employed with quite a big firm. Like, it weren't a mental health thing, but I just like, oh, fuck these dicks. You know what I mean? Because I was like, oh, chasing money. Oh, you done that yet? And people like leaning, like going, I don't work for you. I'm just a contractor. And in the end, I was like, I just fucked it off, basically.
That is a thing with running your own company is you think you've got this in, and I'm not really talking from a great point of knowledge, but you think you've got this independence. But the reality of the matter is, you are always beholden to that person paying you, especially in construction.
Jacked a good job because the guy was treated like as one of his staff. Yeah. And I was like, I don't work for you. He goes, yeah, but you're not going to fuck this job off. Basically, the gist of it, you're not going to fuck this job off. So, no, I did. Fucked his job off.
Yeah.
I literally went there and then, bosh, thousands of £1,000s worth of work on the go. See ya.
It's got to be that way. The one thing I've always done, like it's one. I've got 2 subcontractors. In a guy called Jack in Ireland and Electrics by Lee that's on Twitter. And I'll tell you the story by Electrics by Lee, by the way. I put a Twitter shout out saying I need another subby. He was the only geezer to reply. He gets paid £350 a day.
We've just done another pod which hadn't come out yet. I don't know what order they're going to go out, but we're talking about this and saying it's my go-to source now. It's like, if I can find someone on Instagram who I've been following and I know they're in an area, I'll go to them because they're showcasing their work, aren't they?
Yeah.
If they're willing to put the reach out to you on a social media platform where you've been witness to them a little bit, it's a good thing to get.
Yeah, it's good, mate. And I've got certain rules I've put into place in life now, but especially when I'm boarding people. So I will have, if I'm bringing a subcontractor on, I'll have this sort of conversation over the phone, explain what the situation is, what we pay. Like I say, I pay £350 a day is what we pay, which is, I think that's fucking good. You know what I mean? For someone, and we do all the material, all they've got to do is turn up and do the job, essentially. But there's going to be times when if I'm using you, Jamie, I'm going to fucking forget something, and you're going to have to cover it.
Yeah.
And
if you're paying that money, you should be getting excellent service 95% of the time.
And that's what we sell. So that's
why
what
you get it, because you pay that.
But I forgot what the fuck I was talking about there. But yeah, good service. 350. What was I saying?
Twitter.
Yeah, sorry. What I do, so I'll have a phone in, like not an interview so much. It's just a formal conversation in a way, just try to gauge someone out, and then I'll say, listen, I'll send you an email with all the details on subcontractor form. It'll be with you in the next hour, and then I don't send it because I want to see how long it takes them to come back to me. Because there's going to be times when I'm working, when I'm going to go to, I'll send you the Rams in an hour, mate, and I'm going to put the phone down and someone's going to come in my ear or a client's going to call me and I'm going to completely forget and I need them to go, Rick, you fucking forgot to send it, mate. So if someone don't do that for work, I'll say, listen, mate, this is the work we've got on. I'm always straight up and honest. When Lee came on, I said, look, we've got one guy, we use a guy called Jack. He's my go-to, mate. I'll be straight up with you. He does a good job for us, but we're getting busier. So now he's getting busier. He's done jobs for us. If I'd done someone else on, it'd be the same. But yeah, that's the first thing I do
I'll tell you one about. I like that. I like the way you did that, where you don't send them the thing. Yeah,
it's just simple, isn't it? It's such a simple.
I don't know if I've told this on the podcast before. I've definitely told it before, right? But not on this podcast. Yeah, there's a band, and in their rider it said, behind backstage should be a bowl of brown M&Ms, just brown M&Ms in a brandy glass. It should be full, right? So the story went that they go backstage and they try and find the bowl of M&Ms, just brown M&Ms. Yeah, someone would sit there and pick through the right colours. And the crack was that if they were there, they knew that the venue manager had done everything else properly because they'd done that.
Yeah.
So when I wrote my terms and conditions, I remember this story. I think it was on The Simpsons, like that was. Yeah. And in my terms and conditions, on the last paragraph, I put, it was like, you must supply the company with the following on request: detailed drawings, paper and software, and all this stuff. Then about item 8, I just put jelly and ice cream on demand.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it went in my terms and conditions, and no one ever challenged me on it, right? And I was working for British Chips, and I will name them because they're a bunch of fucking pricks. And they threw me off the job. There's some hoo-ha about it, yeah. And the guy went, "You will never ever get the money out of us for this. We'll take you." Like nasty about it. It's like you're not having the money, you're not having the materials back. We're gonna fucking screw you over this. And I was like, I was gonna knock him out, but I relented and walked off site. Anyway, their people contact me and says, "Oh, you owe me this money?" And they're like, "No, we don't, because you haven't done my job." I says, "Yeah, but you didn't provide me with jelly and ice cream, did you?" And they're like, "What?" I goes, "You didn't provide me with jelly and ice cream as per my terms and conditions, so you're out of contract, so you can pay me." And I goes, "The funniest bit is, you won't take me to court because you'll never go to court with someone who's going to pull that on you when your legal team missed it in my terms and conditions, are you?" 3 days later, check turned up.
Yeah, there was a story about this. With like a tier 1 company, they'd done exactly what you'd done. They'd said something like, "You have to provide our engineers with breakfast every single day." And I had about 100 engineers, and they'd done it. They had to for about a week, and then obviously
like you pull it in, don't you? If you need, you don't use it, but it's
read it. If you don't read it, you're a dick, aren't you?
But they reckon every legal person will do that. Always put one in, and then you go, "Oh, they have read it, so they'll know what I'm after." But they didn't. So they didn't want to go to court and say, "Well, actually, we don't want to argue about this," so they just paid out. So it's always worth doing something like that. I'm glad to see someone else using that.
There's loads of little tricks like this that we do, and it's like when you do a snag, when you know someone's going to come and snag, you put the first switch wonky, didn't you? We do it from day one on the fucking job, mate. We give someone something to look at.
Have you heard about putting 10p's behind the toilet? Have you heard that one?
No.
A woman I know, she used to have a B&B. So, like behind the toilet, like used to be carpeted and that, didn't it?
Is this to make sure it's clean, I'm guessing?
Yeah, there's like a U-bend, isn't there, behind the toilet, does that?
Yeah.
Well, she said they used to put pound coins behind there, like they fell out of people's pockets. And I go in the room, if the pound coins there, the room had been cleaned properly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's smart.
Sneaky move. So there's loads of good ones like that. And I would advise anyone to come up with little things like that because they're worth the weight in gold. Save you a lot of hassle in the future.
It's that, mate. It saves you so much. And I've had people, mate, that we've bought on different. Like it's normally with companies. I find when I do it, when it's a person, because obviously my go-to is to use a one-man band, someone that works on.
It's nice to hear someone say that.
Yeah, because that money works for them.
Yeah,
that money works for them.
Service.
It don't work for me, mate. I charge over £600 a day for a spark because I have to, because I've got fucking overheads. I've got to pay him $350. Then I've got to pay myself. Then I've got to, my overheads for NIC and all of that. Yeah, so my charge is a lot. So what I provide to a business is excellent service solution. The bigger the problem a company's got, the more value they get from me. That's what I aim for. The bigger the problem. So we work from a.
Are you a dog whisperer for electrical companies?
It must be. Yeah, it's exactly that, mate. Because I charge a lot of money for our service. It costs a lot, mate. I say we're expensive. We're not expensive for what we provide. That's what I believe.
Yeah. If you want to find out the cost of a professional, employ an unprofessional, don't you?
Exactly, mate. So it's true value for money. But obviously, because of I've told you what I need to hit profit-wise every month. I need to make jobs count. And because it's only me, I can't do that many jobs. So I've had to go. So all we do now is ICRs, really. That's the bread and butter. And then from that, we get work.
There's that much money in the ICRs.
You're joking, aren't you? Listen,
maybe I should have been sacking them off for all these years.
Mate, everyone sacked them off. Everyone's fucking sacked them off.
I won't touch with the bar spot, can't be arsed. But
I get 2 replies for my ICR. So we do 24 circuits a day. That's what we quote them. So it's 3 circuits an hour. we don't get turned down for ICRs.
That sounds fair, to be fair. That when he said that, I was like, that's a bit excessive. But when you say 3, 6, 9, yeah, that is doable.
NIC say 32. So we say 24. Sometimes you get more done. Sometimes you walk into a building, it's pointless even get your test out because it's that bad. And sometimes you walk in, you test everything. And so that's what we do. But I'll give you an example. We done a job. It was a £600 EICR. It was quite small. It was about 20 circuits, I think. £6,000 worth of remedials on that job. And they paid for it all. And the reason they went ahead with it was because it was good service. They said they spoke to 3 companies. You know what I mean? We give them a price instantly. We said, we'd do this. We'd done everything we said we was going to do. And it's like the ideal customer,
This is like Sam said the other day on the podcast. Again, I'm not sure they go out. Sam said, if you turn up at 8 o'clock, you'll keep your job. And that's just the same thing as that, but developed into more of a company structure, isn't it?
Turn up
You're there at 8, ready to go.
And the 2 biggest jobs we've won are both LED lighting installs. One of them, we won it because they had 2 choices. And what we always do as well, what I always do is, you can walk into a building and go, this building's fucked. This is what you need to do, and give them a bill. Or you can go, this building's fucked. What's your budget, mate? Let's start prioritising. What can we get done? Let's work with you, mate.
I'm enjoying this because I'm not. Yeah. I've never been a commercial. I'm an industrial spark. I've never done this commercial kind of stuff, and it's really interesting to hear that. I never even thought.
Yeah, that. When we went to this company who'd done our next lighting upgrade starts Sunday, but I'll get into that. But yeah, so we've done this LED lighting upgrade, and we're talking about it, and the site's pretty bad. It's years of abuse. But they had tripods with floodlights. Yeah, which is okay, fine. But they also had a forklift driving man. So I said, what's going to happen, mate? He comes around the corner, gets blinded by that light, and hits someone. That's the risk you're running.
And writes that street song.
Just get the lights done, mate. And it took them about 2 months, to be fair. But eventually they went, yeah, we've had a health and safety visit. and they pretty much said what you said. That's the trust then. I'm in there with a trust now.
We got
the job. And, the other one, which we're starting Sunday, we was double the price of the other quote that they had. But it was because I mentioned, this other quote you've got, mate, did they mention emergency lights? Because you're running a new circuit in. So your emergency lights are going to be on the old circuit. When it trips, what's going to happen, mate? Emergency lights ain't going to work, are they?
Yeah.
Just based on that, mate.
Because it was
little things.
We was originally meant to be talking about what we ate, and that's what I was going to say. I hate quotes that aren't apples for apples, and you've picked up on that. You've often you don't get a chance to question the customer on that. Well, is he doing what I'm doing? Is he doing the same thing? But yeah, that's sneaky. That is. Yeah. What about this straight in with something safety related?
Let's talk about this for a sec. Yeah. Let us, because it is the longest podcast me and Jamie have ever done.
In the world.
It's always going to be in it, but you're not bored yet, are you?
No.
No, it's not very often I'm sat here quiet, mate, I tell you.
Yeah.
What I want to do is I want to quickly do a round robin to get it in.
Yeah.
Rick, what is your number one thing you hate about being an electrician?
The number one thing I hate is your so-called friends expecting mate rates.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why that is, because I feel like if you're my mate, why are you not paying me a decent wage, mate? Why do you don't want me to be successful? Like if you was my friend, you'd pay me what my rate is.
Are you familiar with full price swaps?
Yeah, what's this?
Full price swaps.
What's that full price swaps?
So I'll do some work for you, yeah? You pay me my full price for what I would charge a normal customer, but it's a swap because you're a tiler. So I get you at your rate on the swap. Then you don't have to fall out about it. But if you've got mates that don't do shit, you can fuck them off.
I think straight up, you're going to make your own agreement. But if your mate's a tiler, you're both tradesmen, you make that agreement. It's when it's family ain't fucking family's a bit different.
Doing no good.
If your friends ain't tradies, then
this is how I approach it all the time now. Most of the time, I just say I'm not that type of electrician. I only do like commercial stuff. If that don't work, I say right, this is my rate, and you'll either pay the full rate, I'll do it for free, and you help. It's up to you. There's no in betweens. There's no I'll give you 100 quid and I'll see you in 8 hours time. No, you're here with me. You're going to be my apprentice, and we're going to do it. We're going to have a laugh like mates do, or you're going to pay me my full rate, and you're going to fuck off and leave me alone.
The thing is, you know me, Sam, and you're like this thinking now. It's that if I've got to go to your house for 4 hours, that's not 4 hours of my time. That's 4 hours I'm not with my kids and my family. And what's that worth to me? And there's no money in the world. So
you are murder for that.
yeah, oh yeah, terrible.
Murder for
Because
that.
but the thing is, mate, if you speak to Julie, she'll tell you, man, like he's so hyper focused with his fucking job. It's all you know what I mean. It just takes over my life. Don't matter who I'm working for. I really struggle to get the family time in. So then to do private work as well,
No chance.
Yeah, because it's not because
Yeah.
I've had this with overtime at work. I had 55 hours last month because one of the guys has left to move up. Yeah, so I filled the gap because I feel like it. Yeah, and I did a considerable amount of money. It was like I'm not gonna say what it was, but it was like over a bag of sand for the overtime. But people go, "Oh, that's a decent amount of money." Go, it's not because it's not. My work time is 40 to 45 hours a week. That money was taken up my personal time, which is worth a lot more than that. Like,
yeah, and
it's not. I don't want. I'd rather not do it, but I'll do it to help out. But yeah, overtime's just robbing your own self, innit?
So
yeah. And one thing my director said to me when I first started, it was talking about prices. When I said we seem expensive, and he said the first thing he asks everyone, and I apply this to every question in life now, compared to what? So when someone, when you put a quote in and then someone goes, that seems expensive. Yeah, okay, fine. Compared to what?
And that's my one. That's my
70% of the time, they ain't even got another quote. It just seems expensive. Okay.
Compared to thin air.
Yeah. What are you comparing it to? Well, nothing really. So how do you know if it's expensive or not then?
That's mine. I'll roll this into mine for Sam, right? That's what I hate the general public. Yeah, I can't fucking stand them. Yeah, the general public can fuck off. Yeah,
I tutted this morning. But I got proper dad.
The one big thing I really used to hate and still grinds my ass, is here's my price, there's their price. Yeah, they're cheaper. Is it apples for apples? Are they doing what I'll do? Are they providing the service I'll provide? Or are they just, do they know what you want? Or are they just giving you a price for something you said when I've actually priced what you want? You know what I mean? Well, and I hate that.
Do you know what, though? I never break down my quotes. There's just a figure. That's it.
Yeah. Job will get done.
And the figure is, it's literally that in it. Can you break down that price? Yeah. Do you want it done or not?
And I'll go, what specification did you issue? Did you issue a specification? No, they just came and had a quick look.
Yeah.
I go, well, I was around here for 2 hours talking to you about exactly what you wanted. So do you not think my quote probably reflects what you want more than theirs?
And the thing is, mate, if someone ever asks for a breakdown, you know straight away they're not interested. They're not interested. The price is to get the job done. Do you want the job done or not? Well, I'd like to know what you're doing. It don't really matter, does it?
There's that great text in social media, weren't there? I'm sure everyone's seen, like, could you break it down for me? Yeah, it's $2.5 grand if I do the job and fuck all if I don't.
It's exactly that. The only reason you're breaking a quote down is to give them a fucking spec for someone else to quote on. And how easy is it to look at a spec and go, how much you been quoted, mate? 10 grand. Oh, I'll do it for 9.5.
Oh, the classic.
Got all the information, don't I?
If I go and buy the lights from B&Q myself, will it be cheaper? Yeah, because I won't fucking be here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's just like, so I've never, since I started, and don't get me wrong, this is a big thing for a company. That's what I mean with a company, to allow me to just be that fucking ruthless. I'm not breaking down the quotes, mate. Fucking get that off the quote. That's the price to do it. You. That's the price it ain't.
What about you, Sam? What do you hate? Come on, get us a word. Sam's been so quiet on this podcast.
He's done so well, mate.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? It's been a long time since I've had Rick on a podcast with me, and it's been really nice to hear the story, letting it breathe, and letting Rick tell his story, because it's been such a long time, and it's a really compelling story for electricians. Like, it shows a different avenue. A lot of our listeners will be your commercial your house bashers and stuff like that, and more power to them. But say they're at a stage where a lot of them get to where they're like, fucking hell, this is just ain't working out. You can look at Rick's story and get some momentum from that.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very powerful story, and without sounding, I don't know, a bit wet, I'm very proud of Rick, because I've seen where he's come from, like working on agency on some of the most dog shit sites in the UK, in the middle of London, with all the bullshit that goes along that, sitting on the train with all your tools, carrying all that shit up, and then
remember that meme we done?
Yeah.
The Christmas meme.
And then now he's running a division of an electrical company. I think
I'll tell you one way both here. So when you was doing your hardcore union, I was working for Good Martin Ersthouse, which I think you might have had something to do with. And we had a hard-faced piece. We had some hard Imtech G&H.
Yeah.
We had some hard-faced people in our office. We had some hard-faced people in our office. Yeah, one of our HR person. I won't slag off because I quite liked her. She was hammering the fuck out of you two. She was terrified, and now I know you.
This was
But
the
you were
weird,
scaring
mate.
people. You were
This was
scaring
such
people.
the weird thing because we never knew, man.
Mate,
We
was
was
getting
way
tails.
more, but like, given way more credit than what we was doing. All we was trying to do is get agency sparks paid, man.
There
And
were
the
people
biggest
coming
success
going,
we
you
had
want to
was
know what's
with
going on
Tottenham,
down
weren't it?
there? Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
it
I'm
was
talking
Tottenham.
about. Tottenham. That's what I'm talking about.
They
And that
did
was-
Tottenham. Well,
That was all Sam. That was all Sam at Talk Sport. Like, I had no dealings with Tottenham. I don't think, honestly, mate, the union that we was with didn't have any dealings with Tottenham. This was Sam going, I'm going to fucking blow you up, mate. And everyone paid.
They did the electrical at Tottenham. They did the electrical at Tottenham. I weren't on Tottenham. I was on another job. And there were people coming down telling like these folk tales about you two. You know what I mean? It's like, honestly, I'm not creaming it up for the podcast.
It was?
They
it
were
was
fucking bigging it up.
Blag.
I've heard the story, and these people going, these food took this union, these fucking nutcases, they're proper militant, they're burning barrels in the street, turning cars over and all sorts. But yeah, but
you know what I said to him? Do you know what I said to
him?
him at the end? I just went, listen, you're having a day of familiarization, and I'm going to have 20 hippies at every single entrance doing serving up Thai green curry and protesting you lot. So
but the
it's
funny
up to
thing
you
is,
whether you want to pay.
The funny
have anyone
thing
to
is,
put there?
With this union, is me and Sam used to sit at these union meetings and go, "Who the fuck are these cunts, man?
This is the kind of union I joined.
These people are fucking lunatic." Like when they used to tell us, "Yeah, you've got to support Uber drivers." We're like, "Why we support cabbies, man? What the fuck are you talking about?" And then it's like the straw was when they said, obviously we had union emails, and now it's like you need to put your pronouns on there, and we're like, "Nah." Because we're not fucking nuts.
I think the thing with unions is, the problem with unions is, if you unionise, if you've got the International Child Beaters Union, the unions have to support each other, don't they? So you've got to support the child beaters. But I don't want to. Well, they've got a union, so sorry. Well, fuck this, I'm going to go and join the union of arsonists instead.
And the funny thing is, mate, I'm so fucking against unions now. All this striking.
Me too.
All this striking that's going on now, I think
stand it.
It's ridiculous, man.
Because you know what?
I'll exclude the NHS from this comment, yeah. I'll exclude the nurse from this comment because I think they deserve more. But regarding general striking unions, yeah, if you don't like it, fuck off and get another job, yeah. Sorry, that's how I feel.
You know what? You're so right with the nurses, but it is the same principle. You don't have to do that job.
But the NHS is full of waste. It's full of waste. So,
but if you care about, I'll do this job because I care about people, then why are you worried about your money then?
I'm afraid the simple fact is, stop caring, get another job, and then when it's not there, they'll realise it's not there. That's how life works. People don't realise what they got to do.
There's nothing. This is my thing, and I had to explain to a few people the other day because they're like, "We're starting a union." I was like, "Oh, that's sweet."
Yeah, good luck to you.
Said, what would you know about starting a union, son?
And I just went, "There's nothing a union can do for you that you can't do for yourself."
That's
Go
100%.
away and do it yourself.
I've always been like that. I feel that you should always be able to go into your boss and go, you know what? I think I'm a little bit better than them, and I want a bit more money. And you know what I mean? And then that would.
And if they say no, you go, all right, I'll go and get another job. Bye.
I was at a cement firm, and like every spark there's on the same money, but I'll tell you now, I was fucking better than 5 of them. Not all of them, but 5 of them.
The thing is,
and those on the same money as me. I'm like, he sits there wanking all day.
Yeah. And you know what happens with this, mate? Everyone goes, fucking outrage. We need action. And then you go, we've got a meeting. And 5 people turn up. And you go, fuck, man.
Oh, I don't actually want to go to the union meetings or get involved. I just want to shut up.
And then we'd sit there, me and Sam, because you're meant to be official. So like, I started off, was it like chairman, vice chairman?
Yeah. You know what? I linked in you before we came on. I was like, oh, that sounds quite good. And now you're telling me it's a load of old shit.
Yeah, well, it was.
Vice chair. Well, but you're still the vice chairman, aren't you, on your CVs?
I had to become a secretary. Do you realise that means LinkedIn now offers me secretary jobs? What the fuck? But they'll convince you that secretary is. I mean, originally Sam's plan was that I was going to become chairman. Sam didn't want to become chairman.
No.
Sam wanted to be a bit more at the back, but they forced him to become chairman because that's who they'd met. They never met me, so I was like, well, you become chair. So Sam never wanted to be chairman in the first place. And then I think you tried to get at this a few times. And when I said it was like mumbling,
this is the union equivalent. Yeah, this is the union equivalent of someone meets at a nightclub, and then the next day I don't like him, but 10 years down they've got 4 kids. No one just gave up. You just carried on with it, didn't you? No one went, I'm not backing out. Well, if he's not backing out, I'm not backing out. Next thing you know, what the fuck are we doing here?
And the worst thing that there was one chap, one man / lady / I don't know. That was Max / Maxine. And Sam really liked her, really got along well with her. and that was hard work. And I think they are now quite high up.
Who knows? I don't care. I don't know.
The other thing
It's
is,
so
Jamie,
amusing. It's anyone that's listening to this. It's if you know a bit of the backstory, and if you want to look at it, it's an absolute car crash. And I was there. I was there for this.
I want people to, like you mentioned, that they're going, these two people to actually be like, mate, do you realize you've put time and effort into me and him? You fucking numpty, man. Really, you was worried about us.
Talking all official and phoning up the Sun newspaper. I had the Sun newspaper interview me in Hyde Park, right?
Yeah.
I was on Talk Sport every half an hour for like 6 hours and stuff.
But
it was
anyone could do that.
What I will say is, anyone that's listening to this who's not, you'll get what's going off on that. But what I will say is, at this time, we was making a fucking fortune.
Yeah,
we was contracting, employed. Everyone. This was it like 2008? Earlier?
No, I don't think it was
90.
that early. No, it was about. How many years ago is it now?
No, it's longer than that.
It might be 7 years ago now.
What's this?
The union.
What, me and you done the union?
Yeah.
Nah, man, it was
You're going to be surprised now.
20. I'm going to say 2018.
No way.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think.
no.
Listen, I got qualified in 2016, so I know I didn't get self-employed until 2017. So we might not have started it, but we was involved in it in 2018 for sure.
Maybe. Right,
It's all a blur. It's all a blur.
Monday Club. We're out.